It's been said that powerful and productive days lead to powerful and productive weeks. And powerful and productive weeks lead to powerful and productive months. And powerful and productive months lead to powerful and productive years. And powerful and productive years lead to powerful and productive lifetimes. Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. You know, as we embark upon our lives and we are looking to make the impact that we wish to make, so often it starts just with those daily habits that turn into productive weeks, that turn into productive months and years and lifetimes. It's anchored in the very essence of what we do each and every day. Because what happens is those good habits that we have, they don't add up, they actually compound. And pretty soon we look back years from that starting point and we see how much progress we made. One of the most impactful books that I've read over the last several years is a book called Make Your Bed by retired Admiral William McRaven. And it's basically taken off of a commencement speech that he did for the graduates at University of Texas, Austin back in 2014. And in it, he makes the argument that says, whatever you do each and every day, start it off with a good habit, start off with making your bed. Because what it does is it creates this inertia, right? It creates this momentum that you can carry into the rest of your day. And you've probably all had the experience where you have a really good and smooth morning and it impacts your day positively, where the converse of that is maybe you've not had a great morning right when you've woken up and before you've moved off to work or gone off to school, and it's impacted the rest of your day negatively. So what do we do? How do we form these habits, and what are the things that we can do on that daily basis? Well, I'm often asked that question. And so what I did in my book, this is a shameless plug right here, but my second book, Breaking Through, I noted what my morning routine is, and I call it the 6 M's of morning mastery. And these are activities that you can do each and every morning. Generally takes me about an hour to get through these, so it might be a little bit less sleep. And what I would say to you is, as I'm going through these, if you don't want to embark on all 6 of them right at the beginning, that's absolutely fine. But just incorporate them and begin to build. So what are these 6 M's of morning mastery? Well, the first M stands for meditation. It's taking time each morning to get quiet. You can do it on your porch, you can do it walking in nature, you can do it sitting on a meditation pillow. But all you're doing is you're allowing your thoughts to slow down. Get in touch with your breath. And I'm really happy to say that many times some of my best ideas in terms of dealing with difficulties and challenges, or maybe I'm working on a project and I've been stuck on something, many times during this quiet time is when these tend to just pop in. You know, it's like sometimes people say their best ideas come in the shower. It's the same way. But being intentional on a daily basis to get quiet and do meditation is one, I think, the most powerful things we can do. Number 2 is mind treatment. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, basically what I'm talking about is positive and affirmative statements that you're making to yourself of the day and the life that you want to create. So many times what happens in our mind is we default to the negative. And it goes all the way back to our days of just trying to preserve our lives and trying to survive. So we're constantly looking for danger so that we can avert it or we can defend ourselves. But we don't live in a society like that anymore. But oftentimes the things that bother us the most dangerous things that we have happen in our lives are happening through our thoughts. I think it was Mark Twain that said he had many challenges in his life, some of which actually happened. Because most of the time they're self-created in our mind. So what we're doing is we're training our mind through those positive affirmations to kind of rewire our brain. So that's the way that we're looking at the world. So mental imaging. Then the next one is what I call mental imaging. Excuse me, that mental imaging. And what that means is you're actually doing positive, imaginative visions of what you want to create. I once had a teacher tell me, Chris, if you're going to fantasize, you might as well win. But there again, how many times in our lives, how many times each day are we visualizing things we don't want to have happen? And many times that's what ends up occurring in our lives. But if we're disciplined about the mental imaging that we want to have and those affirmative positive thoughts, we tend to open things up. And that's what we start to notice. We start to notice those things where maybe we didn't before. All right, number four. Number four is movement. Movement. I always love talking about this one because so many of us in our society, we're constantly looking for ways to exercise. And I like using the term movement because I think that sometimes exercise, even though I love doing it myself, can have a negative connotation for some people. You know, it's very interesting is there are places on the planet called blue zones. And these are areas where people live routinely into their 90s and their 100s. And when they go and they study these groups, what they find is there are very specific things that they adhere to. They have a very good and robust diet. They're part of a community, generally speaking. But one thing they do each and every day is they move. They're not on a stairmaster. They're working in the garden. They're squatting. They're moving something from one place to another. They're moving their bodies because our bodies were designed to move. Our bodies were designed to move, and we can tend to be very sedentary in our lifestyle. So what about if you just had some sort of a movement routine that you did each and every day as soon as you got up? So movement. The number number 5 is motivation. I mean, in my opinion, there is no excuse for not being tapped into some source of motivation in our societies. Not only do we have books, but we've got videos we can access on YouTube. We've got podcasts we can listen to. There's magazine articles. There's so many, and spiritual spiritual texts as well. There's so many places that we can get our motivation from. It's just basically the touch of a button on our phones. So making it a daily discipline of just tapping in 5-10 minutes of something that will motivate you and help you, where you almost have that virtual teacher with you that's allowing you to move through your life gracefully and powerfully. And then finally, the last M, number 6, stands for memoir. And basically this is just taking time to journal. What are your thoughts? What's going on in your mind? What are the challenges that you're dealing with? And just by getting it down on paper, many times what it does is it acts as a catalyst for us to move through those most challenging times, or sometimes documenting our best ideas, because many times they come to us and then we don't have time to write them down. So those are the 6 M's of morning mastery. Let me repeat them to you one more time. It's meditation, it's mind treatment, it's mental imaging, movement, it's motivation, and then it's memoir. And if you adhere to these, I find my experience is it can really work as a great catalyst for the rest of your day. Now you might be saying, Chris, that's a lot of M's. Well, if you're not doing anything like that each and every day, I just encourage you to choose 1 or 2 and build off of that momentum. And then if you choose to, add another 1 or 2 after that. And if not, that's fine as well. At the very least, you might want to just start with making your bed. So there you have it, my friends. It's been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, that you can embark on some of those 6 M's to create masterful days for yourself. And we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.